Yeah, so this is a new episode of Pints and Pages. I'm Nick.
I'm Brad.
I'm Levi.
And today we are going to talk about Daredevil and a couple other things.
Probably.
So, probably. So Daredevil caught up with Frank in this episode.
Frank Gallagher. He's still alive.
Yeah.
We're jumping from New York to Chicago.
Dirty
apparently.
Frank. Yeah. Dirty Frank. I enjoyed how they brought Frank into the show.
Frank, what's Frank's last name?
Castle.
Okay, I thought so, but I'm like, am I just thinking of that crime TV show
with Nathan Fillion?
Yeah. Everyone loves Nathan Fillion.
Everybody does. He's in a fantastic show called The Rookie. So,
and Firefly.
And fucking Superman coming out in
he's gonna be in July.
He's in fucking everything.
He is in absolutely everything.
Guardians.
That's the only. I was about to say that's the only part that sucks is he only cameos in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. So who knows if we'll see him again?
Yeah, well, he'll be in all of James Gunn's movies.
Probably.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I don't know because he can't play multiple characters because he's not cameoing. That's Guy Gardner. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
I see what you're. Yeah.
I like how we pivoted from.
We immediately
Daredevil to
Superman. I'm fucking tired of waiting.
So
I'm ready for Superman.
I'm ready. I'm definitely ready.
I've never been ready for a Superman movie.
I'm more ready for Fantastic Four.
That too.
Yeah, I'm ready for both of them. I think Thunderbolts is going to be low key, like very important.
I think it's going to be a hitter, underdog hitter too.
I think like everyone but Bucky's gonna fucking die in it.
I think that
we might get wiped out
by the end of Thunderbolts. Wilson Fisk will be president of the United States.
I could see that. That's a big jump, but I could definitely see. Because like we've been saying, this leads Daredevil season 1 leads right into opening weekend of Thunderbolts, and then not that long after we get season 2.
Well, and here's the thing: the absolute relation to what's going on politically in the world with something like that, and Marvel people would be either on it right away, or they might be like, it's gimmicky. So I don't know how that would play out.
I just have this feeling that because he keeps
I think
episode after episode after episode, he just continues to keep talking about
vigilantes.
There's bigger things. There's a bigger picture we're fighting for. I love how he talks and doesn't move his mouth. Like he did that in the White House scene, when he was yelling at the kid.
Yeah.
Told him never to do it again. His mouth is not moving, but he is so frightening, telling him it'll be the last thing you ever do.
I love how he basically threatened his life without threatening his life.
Yeah.
Because that's a big statement.
But I enjoyed this episode. I thought that I've enjoyed the last two. The courtroom episode I thought was good too. But this one was them bringing Punisher back and almost using Punisher as the person that Matt needed to give him permission to be Daredevil again. I thought was
what the fuck are you doing, dumbass?
Yeah.
Matt Murdock had to go slap the shit out of Frank just so he knew. Oh yeah, I probably should go do this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm slapping the wrong guy right now.
I will say my favorite exchange out of that scene was when he yelled that the guy that killed Hector, or the guy that killed Foggy, got life, and he immediately Frank's like, "Well, what about Foggy's life?" I was like, "Damn, that was great! I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they've made him, which he's always been a very intelligent human being, but they made him more controlled in this than in the." I love the Netflix series, but he's just a straight fucking psychopath.
Yeah. You can tell that he's he's very Yeah, in the Netflix thing, he was fresh off his family getting killed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this one
more put together, organized.
Yeah.
Still psychotic.
I'm fucking loony bin nuts now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right off the bat, they were like, right off the bat, their first interaction, like, he's like, goddamn fanboys. You know, he was like, it was, you know, so clearly there's a whole renegade part of the police department that just worships the Punisher for whatever reason.
Which I love the fact that they all have very open tattoos and are very open about it, and no one seems to give a fuck. And somehow Matt didn't know until he felt the bullet. Like, obviously he couldn't see the tattoos, but no one said a fucking word to him about this.
Right.
About a guy that, like, the cops are idling a guy that went around just murdering people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of nuts. I was like, it took this long.
I like how he kicked the bottle and then followed it through the sewer, and like just by hearing it, and then
well, it's smart because like you kind of think of things like that when you're fucking blind.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, how the hell would I know where something would roll from here to where a normal person wouldn't have seen it or even thought to look because they have eyes,
right?
And then like, that was a good idea to just fucking throw something down and
yeah. I just saw something. You had asked what I was watching, and I was watching The Residents, which is a new comedy on Netflix. But it's funny because like they just in the scene they were in, they just mentioned something completely along those lines because the lady detective says there's a dead guy on the floor and she's standing above him, and there's a whole room full of people, and that this guy dies in the White House, and they're like, it's a suicide. It's obviously a suicide. His wrists are slit, and he's got a suicide note in his pocket, and it's clearly a suicide. And she's like, you know what birds do? They focus on their prey, and they see nothing else. You know what humans don't have the ability to do is focus on stuff that's not focused. Like, she's like, so he slit his wrists, but there's no hesitation marks, and there's no blood. Like, there's blood, he slit his wrist, but there's no blood anywhere. There's also no knife, and nobody noticed that he's not wearing his shirt, and the shirt that he's wearing has blood all over it, and it's not his. Like, you guys are not noticing anything that, like, he's clearly been
facts.
Yeah, like he's got a large contusion on the back of his. Like, they just wanted the easy way out of solving it, which was, clearly he must have committed suicide.
It's like the minute you hear people fucking parroting the whole suicide thing, it's like, okay, now those people are all suspects because could be a potential misdirection.
Right.
Like, if you're also pushing that directive, maybe you have some fucking inside info.
Well, and the reason I clicked on it to watch it is because it, like, within the first 5 minutes, it reminded me of Clue, the movie, it was like...
You and fucking Clue,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. But it's definitely a comedy, and it takes place in the White House. So, like, the guy dying in the White House with, like, the state dinner going on downstairs with the president... Like, they just wanted it to be the cleanest way to get, like, the dead body out. Like, let's just call it suicide, get it out.
Let's get this shit over with.
Yeah. So, they didn't want to get anybody involved or have an investigation and all that fun stuff. So, anyway, but yeah. So, back to Daredevil.
So I watched New Rockstars, but I also saw this on just a Facebook post. I think it's interesting that we could get because they introduced Hector Ayala's niece.
Yes.
And in the comics, she took over being the White Tiger at one point after Hector Ayala got locked up for murder. Because in the comics, Daredevil never got him off. He actually did go get locked up for it.
Okay.
And then something happens to her, and I don't remember what the relation is. Her aunt or her cousin, someone else in that bloodline takes over.
It's Hector's sister.
Hector's sister. So her aunt or
her mom, I
her
think.
mom. But so we could see, and I don't know if anyone realized it, because I didn't until watching New Rockstars, that Matt had the bag of evidence that had the amulet in it.
Yes.
So, which means it's out of police custody. Because that was my thought when...
And I think he gave it to her.
Did he give it to her?
I think he gave it to her.
I guess I didn't notice that part.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he gave it to her.
So.
Which makes complete
You
sense.
did notice that when he had the confrontation with the guy in the hallway, the cop, he asked him about killing Hector, and he said he didn't have anything to do with it, and his heartbeat didn't jump. So he was telling the truth. So,
well, we also know Fisk was the one that had that done.
So, yeah, well...
Now, how intertwined Fisk... Well, we know Fisk isn't intertwined with the police, because him and the
police chief don't get along.
Yeah.
I bet you it was an intentional setup, like you're saying. And, well, you gotta remember, police are kind of trained in full fucking liar detector.
Well, that could be.
That's true.
But also, it could be, like, the bullet casing was meant to be found, but they never found it, so they could act like it was the Punisher that did it.
Yeah, I
so
think
by
that
not finding it, he took the whole extra fucking red herring out of the plot.
Yeah, I think that the thought was maybe Fisk wanted Punisher to get blamed for it, so he could take out two vigilantes at once.
Which would make sense.
Yeah.
White Tiger's dead, and Punisher's gonna,
Yeah, because I
get
highly
blamed
doubt
for
the fanboy fucking cops are putting that shit on all their bullets.
it's hard for me to believe that they're doing it to all of them.
They'd want it to look more inconspicuous.
I was going to say, they show how the cops are very, I don't want to say good at it, but they're pretty decent at covering their tracks.
Yeah,
besides for the fact when they were openly going to just shoot Matt, it's like, how is this going to work out, buddy?
Yeah.
That was the only time where I was like, you guys are fucking up right here. But other than that, those cops know how to cover their tracks. They're portraying that very well.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing: is nobody's ever asked that guy why the fuck he had why you got the shit beat out of you all differently every week,
Right.
And it's like a fucking blind lawyer, man.
Well, yeah. Not only would he have to say that a blind lawyer kicked his ass, but yeah. We did get our first look at Muse.
Yes.
Wait,
Muse, the guy with the white mask with the blood around the eyes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know what his name was.
Okay, so you guys don't know the history of Muse?
I don't know much about. I know a little. I was gonna say I know a little bit, but I don't know if you guys noticed all of the, or not all of, but a bunch of the murals, like specifically the two-sided Kingpin, are signed by Muse.
Yeah,
so
he's got a lot of artwork by Muse all up in that motherfucker. Because that's when he was sitting down with that bunch. He had that big one.
Yeah. But Muse is the one going around painting all of those.
So I watched a 15-minute, this is the backstory of Muse on YouTube. And I don't know who was doing it. I should have paid attention so that I could give him a shout out. But it did the comic book version of, when he was introduced in the first comic books.
Well, yeah.
So Muse's backstory, well, it's not really a backstory, it was just his introduction to the comic book world. He is so he can absorb all of the sensory around him. He absorbs it, and it gives him power. So, when him and Matt are fighting, Matt can't sense him because he's pulled all of that out of the area around him. So, Matt can't...
Basically causes you to go blind, mute.
Yeah,
deaf.
he soaks it all in, so Matt can't, hear his footsteps or hear his heartbeat because he's sucked in all the sensory around him. So, I don't know if they're going to put that in the show, but that's what he does in the comic books.
So, I mean...
So far, the show's also given us the only time it's ever been portrayed possibly who Muse is. We don't know in the comics who he is. He has no identity besides Muse. No person under the mask.
They took his at the end of the comic book run that this guy was talking about. They took his mask off, but he was just like a disfigured face, and he said, "I'm just a man wearing a mask." That's what he told Daredevil when he took his mask off, because Daredevil can't see him. So he took his mask off, and he ripped his mask. Daredevil ripped his mask off, and he was like, I am just a man in a mask," or something like that. But he like takes bodies and drains them of all their blood, and then uses the blood to paint. And then he takes the drained bodies and sets them up like art exhibits. That's what he did in the comic books.
So we're going full. I hope they copy the show Hannibal. I don't know if you guys ever watched Hannibal, but Hannibal Lecter did the same thing in that show with his kills.
No, okay.
I figure more like that and more along the lines of Jeepers Creepers, where he takes all the skins and hangs them up and does the mix.
But in the comic book, he is killing Inhumans.
Okay, I didn't know.
Specifically only kills Inhumans. Muse does. Which is, obviously they're not going to do that in the TV show, but that's who he kills. But Inhumans must be a big part of whatever comic book run that was, because like the cop was an Inhuman. Like he was killing just Inhumans. Like, so Inhumans must be a huge part of that Daredevil like block of run. Daredevil also had a sidekick called Blind Spot.
Yeah, he's had several.
He had a sidekick called Blind Spot that could see.
Yeah.
But at the end of the issue, he doesn't die, but Muse pokes his eyes out. Like he takes his eyeballs from him. So Blind Spot's now blind. Like Matt.
Yeah. You can just drop the spot.
So
he's just blind.
He's just blind.
Daredevil is blind.
He's just blind. And somehow Blind Spot is being trained by Daredevil. And then they work together. They're like non-superhero people work together.
Yeah.
But the kid that's Blind Spot doesn't know that he works with Matt during the day, and then he trains with Daredevil at night, but he doesn't know Matt's Daredevil.
That's just dumb.
I'm like, what the fuck? Seriously?
Well, maybe he doesn't know Daredevil's blind.
It's because Daredevil wears glasses. Or Matt Murdock wears glasses. Yeah, it's like Clark Kent.
It's like, how does he not know that
he's... Work even if you're blind.
How does he not know that he's not fucking Daredevil? Like, I was like...
Maybe Daredevil is so smart that he's like, I wear different cologne when I'm Daredevil, so people can't tell what I smell like and know that I'm the same person.
I mean, probably.
He's like, he doesn't eat garlic bread unless he's going to fight crime.
New York's riddled with vampires.
Once he's done fighting crime, he brushes his teeth real good and eats something different when he goes to work in the morning.
Well, and the only thing I can think of is does Daredevil then act like, is he like Batman in the way that he like, I'm Daredevil? Like, does he have to disguise his voice because this kid doesn't know who he is?
I mean, I'd assume so.
So he's like, I'm Daredevil.
I thought you were going Batman with the picking up of Robin.
Oh,
with the different sidekicks.
How often do you think Daredevil monologues while looking in the wrong direction?
Just completely 180 the wrong way.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I thought you were over here.
That's funny. Yeah, so I don't know how long. Did you say he's got multiple, like, sidekicks?
Yeah, I mean, what's her name? Elektra's been, or not Elektra? What's her fucking name? Is it Elektra?
That's a team up.
Yeah, Elektra's really nice.
Yeah, that's a team up. Alright,
she's more like Batgirl. Like,
so the comic books I specifically read, I guess no, that wasn't Electra. That was Echo. Echo was his like sidekick.
Echo could be, Echo would be a sidekick. And about the time,
But Echo also goes in
I'm
the
surprised she ain't popped up yet.
in the comics. She's in like full Indian garb with a fucking red handprint on her face, and not the Echo we get in the MCU.
Yeah,
Still Indian, but
this
I don't think she has
Native American.
or Native American.
Well, I just would differentiate.
Yeah.
Because at first I'm like red handprint. And
No, it's over the eye. I actually have them in probably the box you got the fucking Mountain Dew on.
Nice. I'll make sure to knock it over.
Good.
When we get a drink.
Actually, no, that's the Scotty Young one. Please don't. Knock it to the left on the white one. If you're gonna knock it over, I can at least request what you're gonna ruin.
What if I cover everything equally?
I'd prefer you didn't.
Just get it all.
There's a big stack of just
What are you
open.
looking up over there? All the sidekicks.
I was looking up the sidekicks, but then Dog Crowd texted me because she wanted to know if I wanted to go to Deftones on Friday. But I was looking up sidekicks. Yeah, because Blind Spot joined the Brothers. He's a mutant.
I can believe it.
His name's Sam Chung. Not Wang Chung. Sam Chung.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Everybody, Sam Chung tonight.
You guys are a bunch of fucking cards. Are you finding anything about sidekicks?
He's just reading quietly. Well,
He is. He's pretty bad about being a podcast host.
Sorry. I'm not looking up Daredevil sidekicks. I'm just looking up Blind Spot.
Oh.
I know.
You got Blind Spot. Electra is listed as one.
What, of his sidekicks?
Yeah.
No.
Raymond Connor in the original Ultimate Universe, Raymond Connor served as a temporary successor to Ultimate Daredevil after his death, so not a sidekick.
Does Daredevil... do we count the Ultimate Universe?
Are you trying to just say only in the 616 comic universe? Out of all of the comics that we read, you don't read any. What am I fucking talking about?
He just stares at him and sells them all.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
I'm starting to feel like he's like Seth. He can't fucking read.
I can't.
I was gonna say halftime listening to him read out a magic card. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I have a tough time.
You do. You do have a tough
I
time.
have a tough time.
Speaking of magic cards, the secret lair with SpongeBob is on Monday.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I specifically was like, Kyla, I need you to wake me up, like, make sure I'm up before noon. I normally am, but I cannot sleep till afternoon. I have to get this fucking drop.
I plan to buy, depending on how everything's bundled. I don't want all that shit because there's some of them that I'm just like, wow.
I'm getting all 3 SpongeBob ones. That's all
But
I want.
I want to get
There's 3 SpongeBob ones?
yeah.
Basic lands, instants and sorceries, and then the friends.
Oh, okay.
I'm shooting for
And
3 foil of each because I'm going to give my little sister a set of the 2 without the lands, and then I want to have 3 full sets of lands. And then I'm going to leave 1 sealed just sitting on my shelf for a while. Or if anybody else misses it, I can help a friend out. But yeah, I'm going to fucking try to get 3, but I don't really think I want any of the others, so I hope they have a bundle that's just the fucking SpongeBob bundle, so I can be like, add to cart, change it to 3, cash fuck out, and get done, and ruin everybody's chances.
It'll be normally when they do these, I mean, we've all done the secret lair drops. They bundle that shit together.
I just definitely want a minimum of 2 because I want to give one to my sister, but I want to have a deck of SpongeBob that has all the basic lands as his basic lands, and I don't want to buy them fucking secondhand because that shit's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
And I figured, fuck it, we'll just get foils, all 3 foil copies.
I'm getting all 3 foil.
Unless it runs out, and then I'll...
I probably won't buy them.
I want these ones. I don't have Joda. I have the other version of Joda, which I'll put in Joda.
Yeah.
because it's the other version of Joda came out in Dominaria. She's one of each 5 color like this one, but her thing is you can pay one of each color for anything's mana cost instead of paying its actual mana cost. So I can drop 12 drops for 5.
You guys were talking earlier about commander decks and precons, and that
how they released too many.
2 would be better than 4. You know, Tarkir's got 5.
Yeah, that was. They were trying to be flash. It was like set. That set makes sense to do that with, even though it's still a little much.
And aren't they all fucking dragon decks?
No.
No? All the ones I've been seeing.
I don't think any of them are technically dragon decks.
I know at least one of them is.
Because the Mardu one is all about
from the way it was explained to me,
tokens, getting tokens and sacrifice. It's just straight up Mardu.
Like, it's what I like.
Yeah, normal Mardu. And I actually...
It's aristocrats.
That one looks nice. The Jeskai one is fucking spell slinging, I think.
It should be. It's our set, isn't it?
Yeah, it's spell slinging.
And because she's teamed with a dragon, she's a human dragon monk or something like that.
The teamer one, I think it gets kind of close to dragons, but it's more about just big swingy cards, like casting.
Which is what you expect.
I'm pretty sure.
I haven't.
Quote me.
I was gonna say I haven't looked at any of the commander decks.
The Abzan, full Abzan graveyard fucking recursion deck. Like you're not
mid range.
Yeah, you're not playing lots of dragons in that one. All of them have like 1 or 2 dragons, I think, included. Besides their face dragon, if they have one. The Jeskai one is a Jin monk as the backup commander.
I like that.
And then what Sultai is. What the fuck was Sultai doing? I can't remember.
It should also be graveyard.
It was a different kind of
thing. And Tarkir is where they introduced Delve as the mechanic. Which is where you exile cards from your graveyard, and that's what Sultai did a bunch in Cons of Tarkir.
I'm gonna pull up the command.
Which was the original set.
Yeah, I was looking at the command. I was trying to...
Dad's pulled them up on his distributor site.
Here we go. I have these ones here. So, Sultai's casting creatures from the graveyard and 1/1 counters. Looks like Abzan might be a defender kind of deck. Well, see, Abzan says 1/1 counters.
Abzan loves 1/1 counters.
And returning cards from the graveyard.
They'll probably be roughly close to the same kind of deck.
Yeah, but none of them really have much to fucking do with dragons. Out of, I think this is the full preview, 254 cards, if I'm not mistaken. You added, like, all the lands back in. I think that's...
I mean, that's pretty much the whole fucking deck.
I don't know if all of them have been spoiled. So, currently, with what spoilers are out, and I think this is going to go up, in the commander decks, there are 15 cards that are dragons. So I'm assuming 3 dragons in each precon.
Yeah.
But it might be wrong. It might get up to more like 4, because I don't think they've shown all the dragons yet.
No, probably not.
Oh, okay. I see why the Jeskai doesn't have a dragon backup. It's because her dragon is a part of her card.
Yeah, she is a dragon. Yeah. Well, not she is, but she and her dragon are the same.
Well, that's the commanders and all the other dragons are partnered like she is with that one. All 5 of them. It's all the new clan leaders. They've all sold. It took 5 of them to do the Dragon Storm ritual thing that got all the Dragon Lords fucking sucked up.
Oh, so that's...
Yeah, so when they did that they took energy and created 5 new dragons for each of the clans, and it bonded with a part of their soul as well as other things. So, like, I know the Abzan one is created purely of all the souls of all the Abzan people, living and dead.
Okay.
And it's like just pure soul energy. And then like...
So they did the 5 decks to kind of follow the lore then?
Yes. Yeah, they all follow the lore pretty well too.
Okay.
And that's why they stick so close to the themes of their color combinations.
Well, that's cool, I guess. That's why they did that, I guess.
Yeah.
5's a lot, but...
It also fits with the theme of Tarkir because of the 5 clans.
I need to finish the lore, though. I've only gotten through like 3 or 4 the episode.
And then the next set after this is Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Which has 4 commander decks. And
then
technically 8. If you want to be a smart ass.
They got the 4 and the 4.
Edge of Eternities.
And then Edge of Eternities only has 2.
We're edging for Eternity.
Nice. I'll be edging.
Yeah. That only has 2. And then
I didn't know what else to slap on the end of that statement. I couldn't figure it out.
The other thing is, and then Spider-Man's not got commander decks?
No, welcome decks. They're going to be 60.
Or welcome decks handed out for free. For WPN events or some shit.
I don't know. I know that's the label they've been given online. Whether that's their actual title.
They're starter.
Are they
starter decks?
People have been. I've seen people list them as welcome decks, basically because they're trying to get people into Magic.
Yeah, I think that's what the product is labeled as from Wizards, but like I think it is just. It's a standard starter.
Yeah,
on mine, it's just a starter kit.
Okay, then it's a 60 card starter deck.
Yeah,
well, multiple of them is what they're gonna have.
Yeah, it's just like the last starter kit that they had. It's 2.
Are you gonna get those?
Like Bloomborough? Yes.
Because I would probably own one of each of them just to own.
Yeah,
because it's 5, right? 5 of them.
5 what?
And the one for each.
I don't know how many decks there are
in the starter kit. The Spider-Man starter kit.
Yes, that's what he's asking about.
I don't think so.
I was just saying, I don't know how many decks. I've just heard and seen little bits.
The pre-release packaging looks dope.
Yes, it makes me want to go to a pre-release, but I'd be one of those jackasses that goes to a pre-release, gets my kit, and goes home.
I don't think they.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Final Fantasy. Spider-Man is just doing play boosters, collector boosters, a bundle, and a scene box. They're not doing...
I could have swore they spoiled decks.
They're not doing... It's Final Fantasy that's doing the starter kits.
Duskmorn had welcome decks. So it would make sense if they did a 2025 welcome deck for Spider-Man because it's the same release.
They're doing them. One for each color.
Oh, okay. Well, they're not on the thing.
They're going to be at, they're sold by WotC. They're going to be welcome decks, like he said. They're given away for free.
Oh, okay. That's why they're not on my order list.
That's why,
that
like Final Fantasy, they're labeled as starter kits instead of welcome decks.
Nah.
And
and
looks like green has Miles, black has Venom, red has Spidey Gwen, blue has Spider-Man 2099, and then Pete's on white.
Yeah.
Pete Davidson.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Dinklage.
And Pete Davidson? We're getting a Pete Davidson deck?
Pete Davidson Spider-Man?
Pete Davidson.
With or without all the tattoos. Because he got them all lasered off.
Oh. I want it.
I want peak drug addict Pete Davidson.
Yeah, I think tattooed with pre-Kardashian.
Okay.
Yeah, I want
There's an
pre-Kardashian.
SNL bit where he's like, for this special, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's the fucking thing falls down and like, all the fun memories you've had here. Like, cool. Do that fucking bit. It's hilarious.
I don't think I've ever sat down and watched SNL. Which I don't think
Really?
surprises anybody.
It's not okay. Like it's one of those
I've like
skit
watched.
shows where I find myself doing other shit halfway through. Like I'll put it on the TV. It'll stay on the TV for like 8 fucking episodes, but I'll be doing shit around the house while it's playing, and then I'll like stare at it for the funny ones, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, walk away.
I was gonna say I'll watch skits on YouTube when they pop up, but other than that,
dude, there's some good shit, and it's like Alex has been on a kick of rewatching it, and we will find such humongous pop culture like things about it that she had no idea that's where that reference came from. Like the most recent one was the Bears. Da Bears.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
I didn't know where that came from.
So
yeah, Saturday Night Live.
So we
Yeah.
finally just randomly stumbled upon that, and I'm like,
Coach Dicka.
yeah, and then like you can put your weed in there, man. Like where that was born from, and how it's went through several movies and iterations and shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of references that were literally just some stupid bit in fucking SNL somewhere.
I love that.
Yeah. Cheeseburger. That was old. That's
I do
old
that.
school.
I referenced that while I was walking somewhere.
Cheeseburger. Oh. Yeah.
Any other fun pop culture stuff going on?
Oh, yeah, so we can talk about the fucking bullshit fact that Black Lotus VIP sold out for MagicCon. Like,
Yeah, are you talking about Vegas one?
Yeah, 15 minutes it sold out. All
That
of them.
doesn't surprise me.
It surprises me because all the other times it's just sat there on fucking sale.
Vegas
for a
is
while.
the big one, though. We've
No,
all said that.
even the other Vegas is
Really?
Black Lotus VIP's like always like it at least gets out of the early bird sale.
See,
I have a feeling that because of the Final Fantasy shit coming out with
Oh yeah,
that
they give
month.
you a gift bundle with it. and all
yeah,
kinds of
I
shit.
think that's I think you're gonna get just as many
because I'm
Final Fantasy fucking nerds as you are fucking
I'm
Magic.
not sure, but I
geeks.
think the premium weekend tickets don't get Final Fantasy packs with it. I think it only gets Tarkir. Like you know how we got the Aether Drift when we did ours.
Yeah.
I think that's what they get because it's. I think they're gonna have a heavy theme of Tarkir there too.
Oh,
Because
they'd be stupid
there wasn't
not to.
hardly any Tarkir because they just started fucking spoiling it when we
Yeah.
were it.
Yeah,
So I think this one's gonna be like they're gonna be pushing it.
yeah.
I'm still salty they did Final Fantasy because kind of like that instance.
Yeah.
I feel like when that whole set releases, it's gonna be nothing but all the Magic people not gonna be able to get what they want, and all the Final Fantasy collectors gonna be like, I got it. You're never gonna see it. You're never gonna play against it, but I got it. It's gonna sit on my shelf.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm
same thing
curious.
with the Doctor Who people that bought.
I
Doctor
love
Who
Brett
stuff.
and Aubrey, but yeah, like Brett plays, but like he was like, I'll try to get Aubrey to play with this, and he bought Aubrey decks, and they just sit on a shelf. And I'm like, I like collectors, don't get me wrong, but Final Fantasy are bad. Those guys are bad.
Jeff Bowen at work
Yeah.
came in and bought 2 Doctor Who decks. Never intended to open them or play them, but
Yeah.
he wanted the 2 specific Doctor Who decks because those were his favorite Doctors. So
Right.
he just came in and bought them. No, like I said, never intended on playing them.
Well, and I really enjoyed a lot of the cards in there. Those decks
Yeah.
structure wise,
Dumb shit.
yeah, kind of dog shit. Except like the villain one, I thought was the best one, and that's the why I never took that one apart.
It's
Because I
still
thought
put
that-
together in my fucking.
I think the villain one's probably the best one for sure out of that whole entire set.
I think Timey Wimey, if you completely tore it down and rebuilt it with just its base parts, could be a good
Okay, yes.
idea, but
Um,
it's such a pain in the ass.
If you take that deck apart and make it an is it deck only, it is fucking great. Take all the white bullshit out.
I can see that.
All the white bullshit out.
Take Rose out.
Well,
Or is it Rose? No, it's not. Is it?
yeah, you take
Yeah.
Rose out because there's a better fucking Doctor's Companion that keeps you in is it colors for that. But yeah, if you took all that out and then whatever white cards you took out, replace them with your veggies of a deck instead of focusing on that, you put those in because like yeah, I don't know, Paradox too. All the Izzet cards from the teamer deck worked great. It was like those decks should have been taken to put together somehow and just remove the fucking green and white and get that out of your
They
deck.
should have put somehow made green and white go together.
They probably did, because I imagine like the food synergies of the other deck,
I can see
the
that.
Bant deck, because it was Mardu, Bant,
It was
Jeskai, and
Grixis, wasn't it? Not Mardu.
Grixis. You're right.
Because it's blue, red, black. That's what the villain deck is.
But no, I thought like the designs of the cards were great.
Oh, yeah.
It was played like hot shit. But when I took the one apart and used it with my Ian Malcolm Chaos deck, everything worked great with that until you added the Chaos and you couldn't ever cast anything together.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you couldn't cast it on cards.
But I still have that kind of, is it time counter? Like, I just
don't know.
wondering
Are
if
they
they're
time counters?
Yeah, it's time counters.
He said, is it?
Oh.
Yeah. Is it time?
Is it time counter?
Is it time counters?
Are they time counters?
I don't know.
Yeah, there is a time counters.
Oh, fuck.
Do you think the Final Fantasy decks will be like that though?
Hot garbage?
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the spoilers, honestly.
I haven't either. I'm gonna wait.
I'm really hoping the Final Fantasy, and I know this won't be the case, but I'm really hoping there's not much power in it.
I'm thinking I'm just gonna be pulling cards because they're pretty for the most part.
I think that it's going to be a pretty deck. I don't know that it's going to be very functional. Now, the reverse side of that, I think the Spider-Man cards are going to be fucking bananas.
And I don't think I think they're gonna fuck up some art choices with.
Spider-Man?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably.
I feel like I've already noticed some weirdness coming on with the early stuff.
Yeah.
Like that scene bundle thing, I'm like, it looks like some early ass fucking basic bitch superhero shit. And I'm like, we've got magic artists, some of the best fucking artists in the world, and we're going with like foggy ass fucking 1970s comic book cover fucking quality. Like, it looks like it's
yeah.
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 It looks like all those paintings of that scene box could have probably had a few more extra hours of polishing on it. Sharpening it up, give us some lines, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like the Final Fantasy cards are definitely going to be pretty to look at.
Yeah, I've already seen
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
anything about
Magali.
Final Fantasy, so
Magali got a fucking assload of Final Fantasy cards, and all her stuff is like, you wouldn't be able to know that this wasn't a Final Fantasy artist that did these. Like, she's never done Final Fantasy artwork before, but like, her stuff blends in with everything you've always seen, always. Like, it's fucking good shit.
Nice.
But then the functionality of the cards is where I could see this one being a little stale. Kind of like Fallout, where it didn't really have nothing standoutish.
we had rad counters, but that's about it.
Yeah, but otherwise it was just like, all these cards just look great. The new ones are interesting and function pretty well, but it wasn't like most of that didn't already exist in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think about the only big thing from Fallout was the Nuka-Cola vending machine, just because it gave so much synergy to both food and treasures.
Oh yeah, I still need more copies of that, but the fucking thing's so expensive.
I only have one. And that's my issue with Universes Beyond. It's only going to continue to rise.
Yeah.
It'll never see a reprint. It's never going to see anything. There's a limited quantity of them, and they're a collector's item.
And it came in the worst deck.
Yeah. So either you get the worst deck, or you try to pull the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Could you just buy the deck?
Yeah, but then you're spending $40 for one card.
How much is it?
It itself is only like a $20 card, so you're paying double the price for one card.
I was gonna say,
and that's if
it
you're
was
getting it at MSRP, because of the fact it's a limited quantity. Even the shitty deck, it's going to be more expensive than
the pre-con.
Moonshot's the only place I've been able to find it. Any of those Fallout decks at MSRP.
The pre-con's value will never be like the other way, where a card in it will cost less or cost more than the pre-con. Like the price of the pre-con will always fluctuate and adjust to that.
Yeah.
And like even Moonshot will move off of that price once that card reaches high enough that it offsets the price of the deck itself. But yeah, like the fucking pre-con that came with Dockside in it was,
dude, it was nuts.
It was $100 to buy that pre-con. Dockside was $80. So it was like $20, and none of those cards, it was all overprinted fucking shit we've had for fucking ever. Like, you know, nothing new and flashy out of it.
Does Wizards do that on purpose?
Oh, fuck
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Why wouldn't
They have said for years and years, we don't pay, and I don't know what
They don't directly pay attention to what is going on, but they absolutely know what they do will change it, and they know how it'll change it.
That's why the list became a
Yeah.
thing. The list is a bunch of cards on a list that if you ask a Wizards employee, and this is a whole hot button topic thing that people argue about. Me and Brad have argued about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
But the list is a legally binding, I don't know how it is because there's no contract ever been made, but by legal standards, they can never reprint those cards or else basically Wizards of the Coast will go under, is how I've heard it stated. Because so many collectors will sue them into oblivion.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how a collector can sue a company into oblivion for reprinting a card that they've reprinted before.
Here we go. There are 571 cards on the reserve list.
Yeah, it's the reserve list.
I've got a few of them.
I have
Oak and
Feldegriff.
Shield being my main one. Feldegriff's on the reserve list?
Feldegriff's on the reserve list. The only exception to that was he got a secret lair, but it wasn't his legendary form. It was the questing Feldegriff, which is the base creature that can't be your commander.
Ancestral Recall.
The power
Ancestral Recall.
Target player draws 3 cards. It costs 1 blue.
It's part of the power
Instant.
9.
It's fucking dope. Angus McKenzie.
But
That's like the best fucking card name ever.
Tyler Whitehead has one of those, but in like Italian or some shit because it's cheaper to get them in a foreign language.
So they can't reprint those because it'll ruin.
And the reserve list happened in what, 2010?
It'll ruin
Something like
collectors' prices on their cards.
Yeah. Basically, I don't know the whole story of the reserve list, so if anyone knows, comment, yell at me underneath because I'll fuck this up. But essentially, between Wizards of the Coast reprinting a bunch of shit and collectors not wanting their collection to be messed with because of reprint pricing and stuff like that, you were seeing a lot of people leave the Magic scene. Wizards was struggling, so they basically came to a compromise of, we won't reprint these cards, these certain things, for whatever reasons, whether it was for the collectors, whether it was for power reasons, because some of the things like the Power 9 are insane. They will never see a reprint. I don't care. Even if the reserve list went away, they'll never see a fucking reprint. But it's essentially a mutual agreement between Wizards of the Coast and the collectors that at bare minimum, these select cards will never be reprinted. So if you want to be a collector, at bare minimum, you can collect these. Everything else, it's up for grabs if it'll be reprinted or not. But this specific list, which I don't know the last time they added to it, I don't know if they have.
They add to it every now and then when cards are not politically correct, like this one.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It's called Cleanse.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Look up Cleanse, Magic the Gathering. There's another one that just straight up, is something about slavery. And it's depicting black people. I can't remember what it was. They had to... And the weird thing is, now I understand with something like Cleanse, but they'll put stuff on there that's not politically correct, even though they reprint it and change it. Like, the simple one is Demonic Ritual used to have a pentagram in the background of its original artwork for Alpha, Beta, and Revised. And then the Satanic Panic was a thing, and all of the fucking retard moms were like, "Hey, no, that's not allowed. Our kids can't touch that," so they had to take the pentagram off. No, I doubt that ever hit the reserve list, but we know it'll never be reprinted again with a pentagram on it.
That artwork, it's almost like a different type of list, but
yeah, that artwork will never see. You'll see that same artwork minus the pentagram, but you'll never see the original see the light of day on a new printing. Sadly,
Fork's on the reserve list. No wonder it's expensive.
The fuck is Fork?
Copy target instant or sorcery spell. Except that copy is red. You may choose new targets for the copy. 2 red. Cast it. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I was trying to see how many of these I may have, but so far I've only counted 1.
You can get a revised version for $13.
Oh, really? I thought it was more than that.
Well, if you want unlimited, it's $80. Beta's $400. Alpha's $1,000. For a 4 and revised, it's $20. But yeah, it's expensive as fuck.
Nice.
I think Wheel of Fortune's on there too.
I believe so.
Because it's like 1 red. Each player discards their hand and draws.
I'm sorted alphabetically,
7.
so it'll be a while before I can confirm that.
Now Brad's become the reader on the podcast, god damn it.
It's not really, well, I guess he's reading cards, but he's looking more at pictures.
Yeah, I'm scrolling past. I know what a lot of these do, and some of them are only on the reserve list because of their age and edition they came out in.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of them. Like Feldergriff's on there just because of the set it came in.
About Island of Whack Whack.
I don't know what Island of Whack Whack is.
Tap it, target power. The power of target creature with flying becomes 0 until the end of turn. It doesn't even tap for mana.
That is retarded.
It's just the Island of Whack Whack.
Island of Whack Whack.
I don't want to know who lives on the Island of Whack Whack or what they're doing on said island. Besides whacking.
the island.
So is Avatar: The Last Airbender a set for this year, or is that a next year?
It's the last
set of the year.
Yeah. See, I thought Spider-Man was the last set of this year.
No, that's September. We got the November drop.
I didn't realize Spider-Man was only September. I thought it was later. I thought it was towards the holidays. Damn, I'm retarded.
Yeah, they, yeah, like, so June is
Final Fantasy, sadly.
Final Fantasy. And then, so Tarkir hits June 13th.
June?
No, Final Fantasy does.
I was just saying.
It had up here.
Tarkir's in April.
Final Fantasy hits in June.
The card Lodestone Bauble looks like fucking Mick Jagger trying to use the arrow from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, it does. That's awesome.
Edge of Eternities hits
July?
August 1st. Spider-Man hits September 26th. And Avatar hits November 21st.
Do you think they will... Oh, see, I'm looking at the reserve list, and there is a fucking great card for Spider-Man called Mana Web. Whenever any land target opponent controls is tapped for mana, tap all lands he or she controls that can produce any type of mana that land can produce.
Well, I see why that's on the reserve list.
I think that one's just an age thing, though. Because the reserve list encompasses, like...
Oh, I know.
What? I can't remember which antiquities and older.
So,
yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a multitude of things what goes on the reserve list, but a majority of what's on there is just out of age.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
And there were cards that were omitted from that because they had already been reprinted a bunch.
Yeah.
Like Soul Ring, stuff like that. it's already had so many reprints that it wasn't added to the list.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Soul Rings are a dime a dozen, but man, some of these new sets like come out with the Soul Ring, and it just the artwork's so cool. Like
Dude,
Lord of the Rings and Fallout and
dude, I enjoy getting those and getting rid of that one copy of Soul Ring that looks the same.
The base copy.
Yeah.
I do too, but anytime I buy them, I'm only buying the 10-cent base copy. Unless I'm like blinging out a deck or something.
See, I'm the opposite. I will never buy the 10-cent copy because if I just go fucking clean my room, I have probably 8 of them laying around.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's why I only buy the 10-cent copies, is because I know all of mine are in decks. They ain't just laying around. So I'm like, I need some more 10-cent copies to just sit around my fucking room. So if I order one for a deck, I'm ordering like 5.
Well, and what I'll do is when I buy anything like that, Soul Ring, Arcane Signets, Command Towers, Swiftfoot Boots, I wait until there's other cards I need.
Yeah.
And then like I'll go to the shop, I'll be like, give me those. And then I'll be like, can I see your stack of Arcane Signets? And then I'll look through all of them and be like, ooh, I don't have that one yet. And kind of pick that way.
yeah.
That
makes sense.
The other thing I need to do is go to more shops because I only go to Dad's.
Yeah.
And the Moonshot, the one time we went after Birdie's.
There's so many wild shops in Indiana too. I'm curious to see what like some of the other states have to offer because it's always like a different type of eclectic people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's got different mannerisms and shit. Curious to see how people run shops in different states and stuff like that.
Magic the Gathering, we all have our own flavor of autism depending on the state.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I like going in and just seeing what, like, I enjoyed Magic Con because I like just walking around and seeing who had the old packs.
Oh, right.
Like,
See who's got the fucking balls to still be selling some of the old shit.
yeah, and I don't mind paying the higher price if it's old. Now, paying $80 for a pack of fucking Fallout or Lord of the Rings, I'm not gonna do. But
That's silly.
But like what we did, like $20 for a pack of.
Yeah, just for fun too.
Yeah, it's like I'll drop that.
Yeah,
like that's not gonna bother me.
What's he fucking pull? But Emrakul.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have people like, what was it, Mike's coworker that dropped like $600 on a pack and it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
It had like 50 cents in it.
Yeah, I am not doing anything stupid like that. But like, I don't mind dropping.
If this podcast ever got to the levels where we made money like Wubby, I'd do shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do that and do it on camera. Yeah, for
that's
sure.
what I'm saying. If we
For
ever
sure.
got to, if you guys want to see that shit,
Yeah, for sure.
He also utilizes people buying in and doing breaks.
Yeah.
And he
I
has,
was explaining that to Dad.
Yeah, he also has people that help him get the products and do a lot of that stuff. I don't know. I mean, it helps when you know people will spend assloads of money all the time trying to do degenerate shit.
Oh yeah. It's like in the Pokemon scene with all the Twitch streamers, whenever they all decide, because like once a year they for some reason all get together and decide to start opening Pokemon boxes, whether it's new sets, old sets. They have one guy who goes by the nickname of like Island something. I don't remember what the end part is, but who just gathers all of their boxes and all of their shit for them. Whether it's old first edition or the brand new set, they all have to go through him. Yeah. They don't have to. They all choose to because it's easy.
Give me your list. And
Is it the Island Boys?
No, it's not.
Island Boys.
No, those degenerates.
It's the Island Boys.
I seen where somebody just started fighting them for no reason, like in a video one time, and it
They
cracked me up.
They exist. There's a reason.
They were like, you know, they were just minding their own business, not doing anything wrong. Somebody just came and started fucking smacking them around.
I keep seeing something fly past the window. It looks like a balloon floating. I've seen it twice now, though, but it like floats the same way a balloon does.
Oh, fuck. Stay away from the curb drains.
Pennywise.
I got magic cards down here. Fuck! For real.
You ain't pulling my leg, man.
You're not fucking with me.
I do that when I
I
think
got
of
the wilds of Eldraine down here.
I think of it every time I talk to JoJo because I use that. He said JoJo, and like I said, hey Georgie.
Hey Georgie. I only ever saw part 1 to the new one. Never seen the old one.
I thought his voice was great.
Which
Skarsgård.
Scar,
I thought his voice was great. It was definitely a little bit more over the top, focused on Pennywise. There was something about the old one and Tim Curry's that was like, they're gonna ignore this guy on the street because he's like a real dude clown. Like if you see Bill Skarsgård's fucking dude on, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? But you see fucking Tim Curry's Pennywise, they're like, sir, do you have a permit to be making blood animals? And he's gonna be like, and leave. And like, that's it, and he's gonna get away with it all.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, there was...
I've seen pictures.
The funny part is that but Tim Curry's actually looked like a clown. Like, not that Skarsgård's didn't, but it was a demonic clown.
Well, and
where Tim Curry's was like, holy shit, it looks like
to me, Tim
fucking
Curry,
Poco the clown. You know,
I was gonna say, to me, Tim Curry was like, what did John Wayne Gacy look like? Let's copy him.
Yeah, no shit.
He kind of did look like, he kind of did look like
if you in the book, you know that whole fucking bit about it being old timey matters. So I understand why he looks like that for the new one, but the old one, that was just a layer of fucking get away with it that makes it scarier to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, you guys seriously not gonna fuck with this old house? Everybody knows like it's bad, and like there's weird floating kids coming out of the fucking sewers, like. You know, like, come on. Yeah. Does nobody go in the fucking sewage system and check this shit?
No.
Like, nobody goes down there to find a fucking gigantic pile of furniture and debris and kids' fucking toys?
You brought up the books. I won't read his books unless I have to look him up and see when he wrote them. Because if it's any years during his cocaine addiction, they're such a hit or miss, whether they're going to be good or bad. Because it's like Cujo, such a great book. Do you know he doesn't remember that he wrote that book?
No.
He said in interviews he has no memory of ever writing that, publishing that, or anything to do with Cujo because he was so fucked up off cocaine and other shit that he was doing that he just had it's not there. He's like, my name's on it. I helped with the movie. I don't fucking remember a lick of this.
Huh. Yeah, it was... I'd never read the book. And I've seen both the movies.
You don't want to read the book.
So,
the book was good all up until you get to the end. And then there's a child orgy, and it gets really fucked up.
It got really weird, yeah.
I went into that not knowing that, so I got there and was like, what the fuck am I reading?
Yeah.
I thought I had to burn my eyeballs out.
They're doing a TV show.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, they're doing a TV show called, I thought it was called, like, Welcome to Derry.
Oh, I did hear about that.
Yeah, where it's,
what dairy was that?
Derry, Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah, everything takes place in Maryland.
That's where he's from, right? Or no, Maine. Is it Maine?
Maine's where... No, you might be right with... I think Maine's where he's from.
I think Derry is in Maine.
You might be right on Maine. Maryland sounded correct.
I lived kind of close to a town called Derry when I lived in Pennsylvania for trade school. It was the town that Rab himself was from.
Oh, really?
His hometown, and we went to the high school there for our graduation shit.
Nice.
Which I never understood why this big ass trade school that's got a humongous fucking everything.
It's Maine.
Would go down the little dinkiest town over just to use the high school for graduation.
You lived in Pennsylvania. Do you have any attraction to Silent Hill franchise?
I know what you're about to say.
I was gonna say, did you go?
No.
I want.
I got to. I've been to the dead end, but I never.
I want to go just to the highway.
I've been to the highway.
I'm pretty sure it's still not. Drive. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure it's still not safe or allowed to go in there.
No, and it has. There's a roadblock where it starts, but we got up to that.
See, I just want to go that. I'm not trying to break laws or nothing. I just want to see the fucking. I'm not even that big of a Silent Hill fan. I just like that shit.
Well, the problem is the parts that's all nice, fucking cool looking is around a bend from where it's closed off. So like you can't see the cool shit without getting in.
Oh, okay, I'm getting in then.
Yeah.
I take back every statement I ever said.
So what is this?
Centralia, Pennsylvania, there's a coal fire that's, I think,
Still
going on
burning.
like 110 years because it had been burning for like 90 when I lived there in 2008.
It's what Silent Hill is based off of, that franchise. It's the actual lore is a fucking coal fire got set, or a fire got set in the coal mine, lighting all of the underground of the town on fire. So they all had to evacuate. And it's still burning to this day.
It lit open parts of the cave system that they had never gotten to either.
Yeah.
So like little cracks and shit in the rocks, and it just slowly burnt that coal out and spread. So houses have collapsed. Like you go there and there's just pits of smoke pouring out. And some of them you can see the hot glowing embers and shit in still. But yeah, it's just, there's no way to put it out. It's just a coal fire been burning under the ground for that long.
And that's what Silent Hill is based off of. That town. And that kind of that spookiness of the area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then they went really fucking sci-fi. I say sci-fi because like Pyramid Head's real fucking weird. And I don't know how you explain that without some kind of sci-fi bullshit. But I've never played the game, so I don't know how.
Horror. I guess it's still horror. He's like.
I mean, yeah, it's horror. I just say sci-fi because I don't.
It's very Resident Evil. Like
I guess
fucking, but that's still science fiction because you got viruses and all
that
crap. But
so what they're doing with this, it's called Welcome to Derry. They're planning on 3 seasons. It wrapped up last August, so it should be coming out soon. I don't think it has a release
Did they
date
do all
on it.
3 seasons in one shot or just the first
No,
season?
they only did the first season, but what they're going to do is they're going to do 1962 in the first season. The second season is 1935. The third season is 1908.
what about 1885?
So they're going back 27 years in time. Because that's
every 27 years.
That's the lore, is every 27 years. Bill Skarsgård's coming back. He's playing Pennywise.
Good.
So, yeah.
I like that because then that keeps just a continuity between all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Same guy.
I really don't
The same demon.
I don't really recognize the other names.
Well, I imagine it's. I was gonna say I imagine it's a bunch of children, but it could be adults.
Sometimes it's like when you've just not known you've never heard the actor's name.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel like I am all the time.
Yeah, that's why I like. That's why I like clicking on them because I recognize one of these guys.
It's like, oh yeah, that guy.
James Remar. I recognize him,
Oh yeah.
but I couldn't tell you what he's in, but I didn't know his name. So Madeline Stowe's in it, but I can't imagine. But she's a reoccurring role and not a starring role.
I'm so bad about it. Like when the first time I ever saw Ant-Man, because I recently watched Lost before that, I was like, it's Kate from Lost. It's the only way I know that actress. Still to this day, don't know her fucking name. All I know is that's Kate from Lost.
Her last name's Lily, right?
Yeah.
Evan something. Evangeline Lilly or something like that. Yeah.
I just know her last name's Lily.
Yeah, this guy watched The Eternals,
Oh, I did.
Shang-Chi, and Ant-Man.
And
Quantumania.
Quantumania last Sunday. And my conclusion out of all 3 of those was Quantumania was the only decent one.
Mm-hmm.
Shang-Chi was a good movie. I still despise that they made Shang-Chi a movie. Because just out of the comic book aspect of he has never been a relevant comic book character, which is where we pull the lore from while they do adapt it in the MCU and change it and manipulate it, he's been in like a total of 8 fucking comics. Why do we give him a movie? Like, I know we were trying to do like...
Because there used to be a cartoon.
Alright, so I've never heard anyone bring up the cartoon.
It used to be in a cartoon, and it was very racist.
I didn't know that, and that might be why no one brings up the cartoon. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in a cartoon for a little.
Oh, I was going to say this because I'm glad you brought this up. So I watched Eternals, and I came away with this point, too. The Celestials aren't made of adamantium. Because of the fact, if you remember, in Eternals, Cersei, who is basically your main character, she describes her power very specifically as I can turn, say, rock into water. I can turn different...
Wait.
You've
seen Captain America, right?
Yeah, they did say it's made out of Adam. What I'm saying is Cersei specifically describes her power as being able to change one material into another, one element into another. So, and at the end of the movie, how she defeats Tiamat is by changing him. You watch his whole figure change. So she created Adam, or whether she created her or it's from another place, she turned him into adamantium. He's not adamantium.
Oh, fuck. That's a good catch.
Now I'm glad I waited this long to watch
That's a good catch. No, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because I saw that and I waited till the next day because he was
just
asleep.
like it's kind of like a granite stone that's probably just enriched with adamantium.
Yeah, probably. But yeah,
But she still had to have turned him into...
Yeah, she turned him into whatever, into
that's
adamantium
cool.
or whatever the fuck.
No, that's cool.
The other thing I took away from that is if I watched, what is his name? The Indian dude, Kinko or whatever. If I watched him fucking finger gun someone another time, I was gonna go ape shit. So I was like,
I fucking loved him though. Like
I loved his character, but it just felt so dumb every time I'd see him just... He never actually did that, but that's what it felt like he was doing, is just holding up finger pistols and cocking his hand. Like, I got he gathered energy kind of like Gambit does with projectiles, but just the act of just do. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
I got it. It was, his character was great, but just that alone, I laughed every time he did anything. Like when he fucking goes underneath the goddamn, the deviant, and fucking blasts his head off. He immediately points his fingers up, and I bust out laughing. Couldn't take anything serious, because I'm like, it's just so funny to imagine someone be like, hey, take me serious right now. Even though you could see the ball of energy. Take me serious.
Yeah. I thought the design of the deviants were fucking wild.
Deviants, that's what they were.
That's what you said. Right?
Oh, is it?
I thought you said that.
For some reason, I thought I said something else. But I thought the Deviants looked good.
It didn't feel like Marvel.
It didn't feel like Marvel, though. I do agree. My other thing was, and I'm not one to bitch, because I do like good CGI, and I'm not saying any of it was bad. It just felt like, I'm not one to bitch. It felt like way too much CGI.
Yeah.
Everywhere I looked, it was like, did you guys, were you even wearing fucking clothes? Were you just painted green? Because half of your outfits look just straight up painted onto you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
And then also the deaf girl running. Those scenes...
Sorry.
My exact... Because I keep seeing clips on my Twitter. My exact description of it was whatever they animated for her running and the whole, ripple effect and design around her made it look like a Bollywood movie.
Oh, yeah.
And not that those movies are bad, but they definitely have their own distinct editing and special effects style, and it felt more like a Bollywood movie than a Hollywood movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it was bad, it just threw me off by a shit ton that I was like, this is different.
Well, how much time are we at?
We're definitely over an hour.
Yeah. Are we?
I'm going to say that with full confidence. We're at an hour and 13.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. You say that about the movie. I was looking up to see who made the movie, because I wonder if it was a Bollywood director.
I was going to say, I don't know who made it. And like I said,
Chloe Zhao?
Sure.
Yeah.
Born
Zhao-Ting. Zhao-Ting. Sardines. She co-wrote and directed it. Okay, so, all right. I think we're good.
I think so.
Okay, so this has been this episode of Pints and Pages. Make sure if you're listening to us on any of the streaming stuff like Spotify, Apple, Amazon, anything like that, go to our YouTube page, hit subscribe, hit like on whatever platform you're on. But yeah, do all that fun stuff. Hit notifications. Tell us everything.
We'll have a gameplay video out within a week or two.
Yeah, we're going to do a gameplay video. So, but yeah, so for this, fun little discussion and finger scrolling, I'm Nick.
I'm Brad.
I'm Levi.
And we will see you next time.